Hello everybody, it's me, it's PokemonTripHD, and welcome back to some more Dragalia Lost content. In today's video, we're going to be discussing a few of the recent news that's been going on here in Dragalia Lost. Let's just go ahead and start up with Nyarlathotep's new ability. Sorry, Nyarlathotep's new ability, which allows him to... his new ability allows him to, when he's... Okay, I'm sorry. Nyarlathotep is just bad. But anyways, wait, what do you mean there's purple claps in Mercurial 51 plus? Anyways, what we're actually going to be discussing today is the new time attack here in Dragalia Lost. So time attack has been up for about 2 weeks now. It's going to be ending, I believe, at the end of this weekend. So you don't have much time left to get your, your 5 clears in. Technically, you only need 5 clears, but a good time clear, etc. in for the time attack here in Dragalia Lost. So if you're not aware what time attack is, basically you have a member, it's basically player versus player in Dragalia Lost, except it's not really player versus player. It's more like player plus player. So it's instead of PvP, it's more like PPP. So I'm sorry, I'm never going to say that acronym again. Anyways, it's more like player plus player in Dragalia Lost. And if you go over here to High Dragon Trials, you click on rankings, you can see a whole bunch of clear times. And I believe this clear time was just recently set, and it's just absolutely insane to see this. A 59-second expert high dragon trial clear. So basically time attack, you have your 4 members on the team like usual, and you're playing through the high dragon trial, except of course it's only for expert, the brand new difficulties that were released in the high dragon trials just about 2 weeks ago. So you can only do time attack for expert. You get a team of 4, you go in there and you try beating that dragon in the fastest amount of time that you can, and based on what time you clear it on, you get placed in a position based on, like I said, your overall placement in relative to other players and how fast they've cleared it. So it's kind of player versus player, but at the same time it's player plus player, because you need to play on other people's team to go through and beat those players. So you play with players to beat other players. That makes sense. But anyways, I have completed all 5 of the High Dragon Trials. I don't think I'm ranked for High Jupiter and High Zodiac since I literally just beat those like yesterday and today. So I don't think I'm ranked for those just yet, but I have been all 5 High Dragon Trials, Expert High Dragon Trials at least, so I have a good amount of experience with time attack and Expert High Dragon Trials in general. This video is kind of going to be, it's a little bit of a mesh between Expert High Dragon Trials and also time attack. So like I said, I do apologize if it's kind of like just mixed up or whatever, and I just keep talking about random nonsense. But yeah, I am ranked on all these. You see, I'm ranked pretty well. I'm probably going to try going for better times if I can. But yeah, I have a lot of problems with time attack. I think time attack could have been so much better, and it's honestly, I'm really sad that it's not. I'm really sad this is how it was. But I do think the next time attack, the Dragalia Lost devs, Cygames, they can hopefully improve upon this, since I feel like this time, like I said, it's the first time they've ever done it. It was expected not to go perfect. So let's just go ahead and discuss what I think is wrong with time attack and why I think it is bad and why it's a bad idea. But anyways, I don't mean time attack in general. Like I said, I do just mean mainly this time attack. I do actually really like time attack in general. I think it's a really nice idea, and this is a type of PvP in Dragalia Lost I'm actually somewhat okay with, but at the same time, there's a lot bad to it. So anyways, let's actually just discuss the thing. I do have a couple outlines here on the side that I can just discuss it. So the first topic I have is that the meta is too strict. The meta, and if you don't know what the meta is, basically the meta is who is used in the High Dragon Trials. Also, you might see me waving my phone around. It's basically who is used in the High Dragon Trials. Now, let's just go ahead and look for instance, High Mercury. Now, this is probably the one that's the most strict on who you need to have, because there's really only a certain combination of adventures. And, Worm Prince, of course, can be changed out. I don't really have too much problem with Worm Prince, but mainly the adventurers and, of course, the dragons as well. So let's just go and look at these. So this first composition, we have 2 Wedding Ellies, a Noelle, and a Victor. This one, we have 2 Noelles, a Wedding Ellie, and a Victor. This one, we have 2 Wedding Ellies, a Noelle, and a Victor. This one, you see the idea. It's basically all Wedding Ellie, Noelle, and Victor. I don't think there's a single clear in the top 25. Of course, these are the fastest. Oh, okay, there is one, actually. Wedding Ellie. That's a little surprising, not going to lie. But I can understand how that would work. So that replaces a Wedding Ellie or a Noelle. That's actually very interesting. I didn't see that one. That's 1 out of 14 so far, 15 that are not using one of these 3. Oh, there's an Addis. Okay, Addis is basically Victor, but usually it plays a little bit worse than Victor, because of course his skill 2 needs to be activated for him to bleed. So there's another wedding AoE. That's okay. And oh, there's a Maribel. Okay, so we've had what? 4? We've had a Wedding AoE twice. We've had an Addis and we've had a Maribel and 25 clears. Those those are the only new adventures in those, besides those original 3, Wedding Ellie, Noelle, and Victor. That actually worked. So you can see right there that the meta is pretty strict, and it's honestly it's pretty sad. Mid-Year Stormer, High Mid-Year Stormer is a little bit more lenient with who you can use. As you can see here, that's actually the 25th clear, but you can see there's Halloween Mim. You do see a lot of Emma Ramonas, and there's a Gala Cerise. You see a lot of healers. This one has no healers. There's actually a couple no healer runs, but healers, of course, are necessary for that. Well, they're not necessary, but you should probably use a healer for this. Student Maribel, Reina, there's Mikoto, there's like 3 different healers you can use. Verica, Valentine's, Hildegard, Halloween Lowen. There's a lot of diversity for this one, but also at the same time, if you really think about it, there's not actually so much, because even swords like Marth have trouble finding a game unless they invest so much into them. So it's just, there's other adventures like, who are a little bit lower on the DPS chart that literally have no spot in this. And even if you're using, sleep res units, it's hard to get a game because some people don't want to play with sleep res units, especially if you're not running a Verica. Hybrid and Hilda, you also see pretty much the same couple members. You see a lot of Ellie and Lily, I would say. Summer Celery as well. This one's at 3. That's a triple Summer Celery run. That's actually really interesting. And yeah, you see a lot of the same compositions, which is, like I said, it's really sucks. The meta is based basically off of the top 25 clear list, and people don't really like to go away from that. Now, for High Jupiter, it's literally just Galacleo. I don't think there's a single non-Galacleo here, but High Jupiter is a whole different story. Gleo Cheese is just too strong. Anything that's not on the top 25 list is pretty much looked down upon. You saw that one clear with Pietro for Hybrid and Hilda. I don't think we would ever see that one again. I don't think people want to take a Pietro in unless you have a group of friends who actually want to play with Pietro or whatever. This problem is, it's really just going to be here for Time Attack. I think once Time Attack is done, that's hopefully people will be more willing to play with the non quote-unquote meta units, because again, there's not really a reason to keep going for the best times possible. You really just want to clear once Time Attack is done. So we'll see. Like I said, of course, the high Zodiac meta is basically 2 Galliudins and then Yachio and Fleur. Again, that's incredibly strict meta here. I don't think there's going to be anyone that's not running that composition, to be completely honest with you. It's the 4 meta, 4 DPS. Yeah, every single one in High Zodiac is running that as well. So again, it just goes to show how strict the meta is. Like I said, this problem, once Time Attack is over, I hope it'll be resolved and it won't be too big of an issue, but we really won't know. This problem will always be here in Dragalia Lost, especially if they keep continuing to do linear power creep. I say linear power creep. I mentioned kind of like Addis and Victor. Victor's basically Addis, but easier to use and usually performs better. Addis could be better in certain situations, but overall, Victor is just much better, and you would rather use Victor than Addis. So yeah, that's kind of what I mean to say when I say the meta is strict. And yeah, that's actually all I want to say about the meta strict part, and all I'm going to show off for the rankings. Now, next up, I actually want to talk about the Expert High Dragon Trials themselves. Now, the Expert High Dragon Trials were released, and there's a 2-week limit. They were released the exact same time that Time Attack was released, and you have 2 weeks to clear all those High Dragon Trials and then go for a good time. And then also, to clear those Expert High Dragon Trials, you're probably going to need a High Dragon Trial weapon. And if you don't have a High Dragon Trial weapon, you better augment the heck out of every single thing that's on your unit. And then you might also need a carry as well. So it's insanely hard to get started with the cycle of Expert High Dragon Trials, and I'm honestly pretty disappointed that's how they made it. Now, of course, overall, I'm really happy with the Expert High Dragon Trials. I think they're challenging enough where it's not super difficult, where you can still get into it even if you're a little bit of a newer player. You don't have to be playing since day one to get into this. There's different ways you can get into it pretty easily, but overall, it's an incredibly difficult thing to do, to clear all the High Dragon Trials multiple times. Again, you need 18 tails. Let's go ahead and go into the crafting menu. Let's just go down here to one of the random High Dragon Trial weapons. Let's take a look at the so let's take a look at this one. I actually crafted this one. So you need 18 of the tails that you get from beating Expert High Dragon Trial, or a Master High Dragon Trial, of course, but let's just talk about Expert High Dragon Trial. You need 18 of these, and every single run you beat, you get between 1 and 4. Now, you're usually going to get 1 or 2. That's probably the average you're going to get, and it's going to take you, on average, like I said, 9, maybe more runs that you can get one High Dragon Shell weapon. Now, of course, if you clear every single time, this is still going to take you probably minimum like an hour or something. Unless you have, if you clear every single time, probably like 30 minutes. But odds you clear every single time, it's probably not going to happen. And of course, you do have weeklies, which let you get a little bit easier. But overall, it's ridiculously hard. Like I said, to get started with Expired Dragon Trials, you probably need to get carried. It's going to be insanely difficult to find a match, whether it's a pub or even with your friends, unless they have the High Dragon Trial weapon that you can actually get the clear. Again, if you don't have the High Dragon Trial weapon, you probably can't even get into a match with pubs, because the pubs set their minimum might requirement. Let's go ahead and take a random look right now. I didn't take a look at this beforehand. Let's take a look. The random might requirement for getting into a HMS pub. So this one, HMS, is a little bit of the easier one. So let's just take a look. This one, 0, 2,500, 6,300 healers, 6,800, 5,000, 6,900, 5,700, 7,000, 6,000, 7,000. You see some crazy numbers. Now, Master is a whole different ballpark. Master, of course, you need a max unbinded. You need a max unbinded High Dragon Trial weapon. These mites are ridiculous. You know, over 8,000 something. So this one's 6,200, which is really weird. But you need over 8,000 pretty much to get into a match for Masters. So it's ridiculously hard to actually get started. There is some easy ways you can get in, like a Noelle and High Mercury. If you have a Freya, you can do that. You can also get started with the healer with Hybrid Hilda or High Midgard Stormer. But High Jupiter and High Zodiark are not forgiving at all. You pretty much need a max unbinded Cupid for High Zodiark and one of those 4 DPS options, as well as augments on your unit, max unbinded Void Weapon. And then for High Jupiter, you either need to get carried by Glaio Cheese with 3 other Glaios, or find a Heinwald and maybe get like some other High Dragon Trial weapons or something. It's really hard. And like I said, it varies on luck. You get 1 to 4 of those tails per drop or per run. So it's really hard. And like I said, you only have 2 weeks to do all of this. And there's also the Master High Dragon Trials released at the exact same time. Of course, they last a week long, and you need to max unbind a High Dragon Trial weapon. So you need 18 times 5. Unless you have ingots that you want to use. Again, your ingots just completely wasted on the weapons used before that as well. And yeah, it's just a big problem. I feel like there's not enough time. What they should have done with this was release, I'm fine with them releasing all the Expert High Dragons, but don't start Time Attack the exact same time you release it. At least wait a week or 2 weeks so that players can get on an even level playing field. They can actually have all the weapons and actually go for their times instead of having to grind for the weapon and then you grind for the time. And then maybe you can grind for the next weapon and the next time, so that's just what I'm trying to get at with this point. And again, it's really difficult to get started with the cycle of life for the High Dragon Trials. Next up, the problem I want to discuss is augments. So augments are ridiculously expensive. That's the first thing I want to say. Like I said, you probably need augments if you don't have a High Dragon Trial weapon already, which you shouldn't if you're just starting out. So you need to reset augments. And when you're resetting augments, first of all, you have to reset HP separately, and then you have to reset strength separately for whoever you're going to reset, if you put them both on somebody. We don't get enough augments that you can really spread them out. Like, as you can see here, I really only have 2 adventures maxed out with HP and strength. And those are for High Jupiter and High Zodiac respectively, because I feel like those are a little bit more difficult ones. And you pretty much got to use them on the meta units. Also, I got a snap right there, but you pretty much have to use these augments on the meta units. And if you don't, you're gonna have a lot of trouble finding a match. Again, it's gonna be easier if you're using an off meta unit with augments. But again, we don't have enough augments where you can really justify putting them on off meta units unless you really, really like them. And you practically need them for the Expired Dragon Trials. Like I said, for the Expired Dragon Trials, you don't need them. But if you're going for a good time, you definitely do need them, especially if you're going for a first clear for a certain Expired Dragon Trial. For Masters, I'm pretty sure you do need them unless you have like a max unbinded tier 2 High Dragon Trial weapon. So like I said, they're insanely expensive. They're 2 million, I believe that's 2 million to build, or to reset the HP augments, and then another 2 million to reset your strength augments. So it's a lot of rupees. Again, we did just have double Avenue to Fortune, but if you're going to go around resetting augments and putting them on different adventures, and same with Wormprint, same with, we don't really have Dragon or Weapon augments yet, but once those are out, it's going to be the same thing with those. They're just too expensive. They need to like half the cost or something so that you can reliably change augments around to whoever you need. And yeah, those are actually my 3 main problems. So just to recap, the meta is too strict. Expired Dragon Trials require augments or a High Dragon Trial weapon. And again, those High Dragon Trial weapons are insanely difficult to get if you're just starting out, unless you're healing or being Noelle or something. And then also the augment the augment problem. Augments are too expensive. We don't get enough augments, to be completely honest. So that's really my main issue with Time Attack. Again, if Time Attack, I don't know why I went to my team. If Time Attack was made a couple weeks after Expire Dragon Trials released, I would have probably no problem with it. If they told us, a month in advance or something, hey, we're going to be doing Time Attack for these new modes, Expire Dragon Trial, so you want to build these weapons in this time that we're allowing you so that you can actually go for a good time. Maybe just have a week of Time Attack instead of 2 weeks when, after you let everyone get the weapon that they need to participate in those Time Attacks. But yeah, I'm just kind of repeating myself now. I do want to kind of go over the rewards. I feel like the rewards are a little too nice for the top ranking people. Let's just go ahead and click on rewards. I feel like they're a little too good. Again, I believe these rewards are for all 5 of the High Dragon Trials. So if you place top 5 in all 5 of these, you're going to get 5 Sunlight Stones, 10 Damascus in just times 5 everything. So I feel like they're too good for the top 25. Now, of course, it's very, very difficult to get in that top 25, so I understand why. But at the same time, they're kind of promoting, like if you whale, if you have these super augmented and super buff units, I just brought this out. See, then you're going to get top 25 and you're going to get these good things. But of course, if you can't, then you're just going to get 1 Sunlight Ore. So the top players get 10 times what the bottom players get. And I say bottom players, they're not even the bottom players. They're probably like the just slightly lower level players because just to complete an Expired Dragon Trial, you need to have been playing for, like I said, at least a little while. So yeah, that's, like I said, everything I want to say. Let me know your thoughts on the Time Attack and the Expert High Dragon Trials, also Master High Dragon Trials if you completed any. I personally have not completed either of them yet. I did try just a couple, but I haven't really grinded into those since I don't have Max and Bind High Dragon Trial weapons. So yeah, that's going to be everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about the Time Attack, the Expert Dragon Trials? Have a great day, and until next time, have a nice trip.